get started, you want to get your two shortest cords and match the ends and then run them through your fingers to find the centre. And then you want to take your board and you want to clip one end at the top of your board and then the other end can clip to the bottom. And then you want to take your longest cord match the ends. Then you want to pull about a foot out at one side, so I'm just measuring it against the board, and then you can run them through your fingers to find the centre, and then keeping the shortest part at the top, you want to take the loop you've created and then go over the cords that are attached to the board and pull the loop through, and then take your tail ends and pull those through the loop you've created, and then just pull them tight against the cords that are attached to your board. And then just check to make sure that you're putting your shortest end out of the way. You're just going to knot with the longest cord. So you want to go over and then through, and this is the first half of your knot, and then you want to go under and through, and this completes your first knot. And then you just want to do that again, and you want to keep completing these knots until you've got this bit as long as you want for your loop. So once you've done that, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you can remove that from the board. You just want to gently bend it into a curve, and that forms your loop. You can just pull everything tight to make sure it's in place, and then just pinch the two ends together and clip that to the top of your board. So next you want to take your longest cords and place them out of the way, and then take the two cords next to the longest cords, and then you're going to add beads on now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all the beads on before I get started, and it just saves time when I'm making the bracelet. And to fit the cord through the beads, I'm taking this bit of folded up wire because it just helps with threading them on and it makes it a lot less fiddly. So you want to take your beads and then just thread on as many as you need for your bracelet, and that will vary depending on how long your bracelet's going to be. So once you've added all your beads on one cord, you want to take the cord at the other side. You want the mirror image of this one, so the one next to that one and not the centre ones. And you want to do the same thing and add the same amount of beads as you've got here. And if you do add too many, it doesn't really matter, because when you finish you can just remove any excess beads. So once you've done both sides, it should look something like this. So now you want to take your 4 cords in the centre, and you want to clip them to the bottom of your board. And now you can push all your beads down to the bottom, and then you're just going to slide each one up as you need it. So to begin with, you just want to do a square knot. And you can do more than one if you want, it just depends how you want your pattern to go. So the knots next to your loop aren't going to show up anyway, so you don't necessarily have to bead those if you want to save some of your beads. I'm going to start beading from this point. So you're going to work one side at a time with your beads, and then once you've added one bead, you're going to do a square knot. And I pull this side up a little bit like that, just to create a sort of zigzag pattern with the cords. And once you've done the first square knot, you want to push your bead up at the other side. And then once again, you want to do a square knot to hold that bead in place. And this time I'm pulling this side upwards a little bit. And then just go back to the side you did the first time and move your next bead into place and do a square knot. And you're just going to keep repeating this pattern until you've got the bracelet as long as you want it. So once you've added all your beads, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you can remove your cords from the bottom of the board, and you can separate them out into 2 sections of 2. And then you want to take one of your sections and split it into 3, and then just braid the ends. And you want to do this for both sections, and then when you get them as long as you want them, you just tie a knot in the end of all your cords and try and match the knots up at both sides so they're roughly the same length. And once you're happy that your knot is nice and tight, you can just trim off the excess and you can seal the end. I'm using a lighter, but you can use glue if you prefer. Once you've done that, you can remove your bracelet from the board, and you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you just want to try your bracelet on. And that is your completed zigzag and bead macrame bracelet.